Hi, Sarah. This is the soul reading for Sarah H. I've been fighting off this cold for a long time, so it's kind of slow getting these back because I can only do 1 or 2 a day, and I'm going to try not to cough. But it's sometimes it's uncontrollable. I'm going to get my cough drop before we start. Okay, I always start out by telling everybody, telling you your rising sign, and it's Leo, in case you didn't know. So you always want to look at Leo. For predictive astrology, it's going to be more accurate for you. Before I get too deep into this, I want to let you know that there's going to be sloppy writing and misspelled words all over this thing. Because once I start flowing, this thing's hard to write with too anyway, right? But secondly, I don't want to slow down to correct spelling and stuff once I get rolling. So that's why you have the video, so even if you can't read a lot of what I'm going to write, you'll be able to hear what I'm saying, okay? Alright, so there's several big things that we're going to look at. And the first one that's showing up is the nodes. This is one of the very big main things. Now the South Node, you have South Node in Libra. The South Node is where you've been. It's your past lives. It's what you're leaving behind. South Node. Where's my other pen? Let's try this one to see if it writes any better. Not particularly, but... And then North Node is in Aries. So what you're striving to be in this incarnation, you're wanting to be more like an Aries. I would recommend that you look up Aries sun sign for further insights. Because when you look up the sun signs, you get the most information about personality traits. And the positive personality traits of Aries, these are the things that you're trying to embody in this life, or you're striving to be like. So you could look that up later for more information. I'm going to start down here with the South Node, though. South Node in yours, Libra Sun. Yeah, you have Pallas, Sun, South Node, and Ceres all in Libra. Let me just blow my nose real quick, sorry. And so there's a strong concentration of Libra energy. Going towards your North Node is always a challenge. It's not just a piece of cake. If it was a piece of cake, then, it's always, there's a challenge in it. So most people are more comfortable in their South Node. None of these are actually conjunct. Ceres sort of is. Let's tune into this for a minute here. This is Libra. It's definitely, usually Leo is royalty, but I'm definitely picking up some sort of royalty, like a royal princess, they're actually saying. You had this long title, Royal Princess, and blah, 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 and it might even be Katerina? Is that don't quote me on the Katerina, question mark. This one isn't working very well either. This might be better. Yeah, but it's not just Katerina, it's Royal Princess, blah, 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 blah. And I think that the word Katerina is in there somewhere, or sounds something like that. And of the high, there's something about inferring to you come from the highlands or the mountains. Why won't either one of these pens write? What's up with this? No, come on. Highlands, or mountains. I think there's a reference to a specific mountain range, who comes from the blah, 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 mountain range and this and that. And this feels like pretty far back in time. This isn't, like 20th century or anything, or even 1800s. This is going way, way back. I'm seeing like 11 and 12, so it might be like 11 and 1200s, back that was far, that far back. You were this the prize of your kingdom, like you're to be offered up for marriage, and that was going to be a big deal. Well, Libra's marriage too, yeah. This was this big deal, like, we have the beautiful princess, blah, 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 blah. and that this was a big thing that you turned up pregnant, I think. Yeah. You were in love with somebody else. It's, I guess, the classic story, you know. And you turned up pregnant, and that ruined everything. You were totally disgraced by your family, your father particularly, the king or whoever. I don't know if he was the king necessarily. I don't think he really was the king. I think maybe you were gonna marry the king or the prince or something, you know. But he was definitely, you know, you guys were not, you were high-ranking, you know, what do you call that? I don't know what you call it, but, you know, part of the royal family somehow. But that, your father was just, oh, that just killed him. You totally know this father in this lifetime, too, for sure. But shame, embarrassment, anger, the bastard child, you know, it's this whole thing. It's this whole big scandal, this whole thing. And the guy is somebody who, you loved him, and he was around a lot. So he either worked for, you know, it wasn't like a one-time thing, or you weren't raped or anything. You saw this guy all the time. He was around all the time. He was in your household, you know, all the time. So it wasn't any random thing. And you loved him, and you wanted to be with him. But that was not happening. There's I don't know, I hope they're not going to kill the baby, because I'm seeing that they've got the baby they're holding the baby by the leg, and somebody's got a sword. Almost like they're just going to chop it right up. I hate when they show me violent stuff like that. Well, they're not showing me violence, but I don't really want to know what's going to happen. I don't know if that's what happened. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Oh, God, stop. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, they're holding it over like the out. It looks, it's like an outhouse, you know, it's like a wood where you go, you do your, you know, use the bathroom. But I don't think it's out in like a little shack, like an outhouse. It feels like there's like indoor plumbing, but that's the extent of it. It's some, you know, a latrine, I guess it would be. I don't know. But they cut the baby, and it's screaming, and it's still screaming, and they're throwing it down into the thing. Ugh. Oh my God. Ugh. How gross. Like they cut its leg off, like cut it right down the middle. Like, I don't even want to describe it any further. But like, say this is the leg, they kind of like cut it like this, like, and then the main one leg and the head is still alive and screaming, and they're throwing it down into that place. Oh, nice. And you were right there watching, and you were screaming and crying. And, oh, what a horrible scene. Well, so that happened. I don't know what the purpose of showing me that really was. Oh, I hate when they show me stuff like that. Yeah, so, you know, it was, your father was really pissed. And you still they married you off to somebody else, some old guy. But you were just, you know, a mess. You were never the same, obviously. You were, because you were supposed to marry this young, handsome prince, and it was going to be this whole thing, you know, status for your family and all this stuff, and that happened, and I think they tried to hide it, but I think pretty much people knew. I think they didn't tell them what they did to the baby. I think they might have just said, oh, she had a miscarriage or was stillborn or something. But it was not, and they made you watch when they did that. And so then you were just a broken person after that. Obviously, you were just a shell, and they married you off to some old guy. You never had any more kids, though. I'm not seeing any more children that ever came after that. So I don't know that you really lived long. And when I see you, you're just broken. You know, you're just broken, and you know, it was horrible. So that didn't work out good for you. Um, you did lives in convents and stuff like that. Convents, and I'm hearing nursemaids too. I see you wearing the little black and white bonnet, like taking care of children, you know. So you had a bunch of lives. I feel like when you didn't have any children, you didn't want them. That was just like, just too much, too traumatic. And you also, like, convents or whatever, you were like a, I don't know what you'd call it, spinster or whatever. Like you didn't fall in love again. You didn't have children for a bunch of lives, for successions of many lives after that. And then I see you being like with the little lady with the bonnet, like working in maybe in an orphanage or somewhere, taking care of other people's kids, but not, you don't have them your own. You know, no, you definitely shied away from that for a long time. You know, you didn't want to get married. You didn't want to have kids. You were in service to others. You know, you were a nanny or whatever the heck it was, or worked in orphanages. You definitely went into the convent for several lives too. You know, I'm hearing cloistered too, and I'm not sure what that means. Excuse me, cloistered. So you didn't want to have sex, basically, or get involved in relationships, or have any chance of getting pregnant, you know. So you did that for a long time. And you worked, one of these is definitely some kind of an orphanage. The lady with the bonnet is. And then I see you also in an orphanage in like the war. And bombs are going off and stuff like that. This is unusual for all this stuff to come through on Libra, because Libra usually it's Cancer energy, that's mothers and children and stuff. Or 5th house, and it's your 3rd house. But well, the fact that it's your 3rd house, if you have siblings in this life, or people you grew up with, could be some of these characters here from this other lives. But definitely there was some kind of war, World War I or II. What year were you born? Yeah, you're in the 80s. Oh, that's right. I have twin daughters born October 15th, 86, so really close to you. I remember that birthday. But I'm seeing, like, I feel like it's London. London's being bombed. And so it's one of those wars, World War I guess, or II. But we're in this, you know, building, this makeshift building, and you're helping all these children. So you helped children. Oh, but I get chills on that when I said you helped children. So you helped children a lot, because you didn't, that was such a traumatic imprint on your soul. And yeah, it certainly would be. I'm traumatized from just seeing the vision. I'm not laughing about it to be funny. That was really gross. I didn't want to see that. But still embracing the Libra, the feminine, you know, not being, you know, not taking control and taking charge, which is what the Aries energy is all about. Now, with the Aries North Node, it's like you're to be the warrior. You know, it's 9th house, so it could be with foreign or education. I mean, I could see you getting involved when they're showing me like African. I feel like what I'm seeing is those women that get African. You know what they do to them? The genital mutilation thing. You know, I'm feeling like that, and I'm also feeling like women with you know, the burqas and all that. Women from overseas who are not empowered at all, who feel as powerless as you felt that time, you know, back there. So instead of just being, well, okay, I'm powerless, I mean, you did a lot of good for people, though. You helped people a lot. You felt powerless, but I think you were kind of like the mindset, well, war is terrible, and children without mothers are terrible, but what can I do to help, you know? And, you know, you wanted to help people. But it was more of dealing with the aftermath, or, you know, that kind of thing. This way, it's more like being like proactive and maybe stopping it before it even starts. And it doesn't, I mean, you could go travel to these countries, and I mean, if you wanted to just take it to the nth degree. But it could just be spreading awareness. It could be donating some money. You know, um, it doesn't have to be extreme, but it's about being proactive. Um, I just heard birth control too. Making birth control accessible for women, because if birth control were here, that would never have happened to you. Although I don't think even if birth control would have been accessible, that you were in love with whoever this guy is, and you wanted to have his baby. You know, I don't think you would have used birth control even if you could. I feel like you thought, well, if I'm pregnant, my dad will have to let me marry him, and it really backfired in your face, you know. So instead of like, well, if I do this, then my dad or the man will do this, it's about you being empowered in your own life too, you know. And with ninth house, it's through education too. You know, there's countries where AIDS is rampant because they don't have condoms, you know, or, you know, birth control, and it has to do with these kind of things, you know, women and empowerment. And it has to do with children, even though it's not fifth house, but it has to do with children, you know. Okay, the other things that we're going to look at is your Chiron, which is up here, it's conjunct Ceres, and your Saturn, which is down here, conjunct Juno. Okay. I'm coming here first. See this Saturn-Juno thing? That's the king and the queen of the gods, the father and the mother. You were that one. You were the Saturn one. This thing with your father, this was an old story playing out. Again, you were like the king, or not king again. It would have been like more like an emperor. And you forbid your daughter from marrying somebody. Prior to this, you know, you said no. You were well. You didn't. I don't think you killed any babies, but you had that same attitude. You know, Juno, you had this beautiful wife. You had a beautiful wife, but you also had beautiful daughters. I'm hearing you had beautiful daughters, and you were. You know, I think that was just how they rolled back then, right? You know. The beautiful daughter was a commodity, right? So you were that guy. And you wouldn't let the daughter, you had a daughter, you had a bunch of daughters. There was actually 2 of them that wanted to marry outside of the plan, you know, the arranged marriage. They're telling me you had 8 or 9 daughters. So wow, you had a lot of daughters. And they were all very beautiful, because your wife was really beautiful, the Juno here. And you forbade it, you know, you forbade it. One of them ran off. One of them just took off and ran away. And then the other one, you kind of, you know, wrecked her dreams or her hope. I think the older one ran off. And then one of the younger sisters was like, well, you know, she got away with it, maybe we can get away with it too. And you put the kibosh on that, man. You were like, no way. These arrows are standing out to me. I think you did something. You might have killed the dude, or had him killed. I'm hearing hunting accident. So I think you guys were out hunting with bows and arrows and stuff, and he accidentally got shot. So you put the kibosh on him, you know, running away after the other daughter ran away. So these are that's where this came about again. You had to be on the other end of that. You had to be the beautiful daughter who wanted to marry outside of the plan, you know, the arranged marriage, and, you know, this guy just was a nut job, man, or something. That was really horrible. I don't want to tune back into that. I don't want to see any more of that. So it's also about, there's something here about going on about, and you have the Leo rising this time. And that's all this royalty energy and all this stuff too, you know. But there's about, you know, love, marrying for love versus marrying for status, versus doing what you should do, family obligation, being true to yourself. If Aries is nothing but if not true to themselves, versus family obligations. I'm going to write that down. True to yourself. True to self. These are the kind of things that are going on. And these people, you guys are together now again. It's third and fourth house. It's siblings and who you were raised with, your family. So these people are in your family again in this life. You know, they're here. Okay, lastly, let's look over here at this Chiron in the 11th. Chiron in Gemini, it's conjunct Ceres, always means that you said something. Something you said or wrote is really strong. Had negative implications, or came back to bite you in the ass, or got you in trouble, or caused trouble. Subversive, I'm hearing. You were deemed subversive, so I'm not quite sure what that means, but I think it just means a troublemaker, right? So your words got you in trouble. You wrote something. This is, you're being a communist. You're being talked about as a communist, and this is definitely in Europe somewhere. You have like on a little black hair man, and you have on this little black hat, and a little, you have like a mustache like Hitler, but it's nothing like, it's more like Charlie Chaplin, and little glasses. And I think you're Jewish too. I think that's part of it. I don't know why that's important, but I feel like they told me it, so I'm saying it. And yeah, you got in big trouble. And oh God, come on now, Jesus. You were shot with a firing squad. Oh, come on, I don't want to see that shit. A firing squad. They put a, I thought they were going to hang you because they put a, black thing over your head to cover your face. But then I saw you got shot by a brick wall. Okay, I don't want to see any more because that's too violent and gross. I don't want to know about it. Yeah, so you got in big trouble. You died, And you wouldn't talk, though. You wouldn't reveal. You know what else I feel? In this life with the baby, you wouldn't tell who the guy was either. I think that was why they killed the baby. He was like, "Who is the father? Who is it? Who is it?" And you wouldn't talk. You wouldn't say, because in this life, you found out who the daughter's lover was, and there was a accident, quote unquote, hunting accident. But you wouldn't turn. You said, "I'm not a turncoat." You used those words. Turncoat. See, my writing is terrible. You wouldn't be a turncoat. So they shot you, and not just you. There was a few of you who lined you up, and they shot you, all you, firing squad. So I don't know what to make about that, but you kept your secrets. You kept silent. I think that not to go turning people in necessarily, but I think like you shan't be silenced in this life. That you oh God, that baby. Oh my God, I can't stop seeing that. But you don't be silenced. Be true to yourself. Speak your truth. Be a warrior for truth. A warrior for truth. That's that was really key, I think. Warrior for truth. Come on, write, pen. Ooh, I was almost, it looked like I was writing trust, warrior for trust, so maybe it's something about trust too. Yeah, that series, it had something to do with food and stuff too. About food sources, with that, what you were writing about. That's one of the things you were writing about. I think people were on rations, or they were poisoning the food, or they were lying about something about the food, and you were speaking out about it. And you were writing, it might have been some kind of like underground newspaper type of deal or something like that. So you got this the North Node in Aries, Leo rising. That's not a shy wallflower. That's not the lady in an orphanage, the little Quaker, or I think this is a Quaker with the bonnet. You know, this isn't a little prudy, mousy person. You know, you're meant to put it out there, lady, and go for it. And through ninth house, it's going to have to do again with foreigners and education. So interesting, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Sorry about that baby thing. I mean, I did not want to see that stuff, boy. So I'm going to put my mark on that, and that we did this in June of 18. This reading is good forever, and you can look into it more. You might get some more insights. I would look into, again, the Aries energy. Look up, you know, Aries sun sign, the positive traits of the Aries is what you're meant to embody. It's what you're meant to go for in this lifetime. Okay. All right. So thanks for ordering, and I'll get this up to you later today sometime. Thanks. Bye.